Good governance, they say, begins at the grassroots. But does it truly translate to development? This week, we turned the spotlight on grassroots development across the local council development areas in Lagos State, assessing what autonomy, accountability, and leadership truly mean where government meets the people. Mixed reactions have trailed the road construction carried out by Ojokoro LCDA chairman, Honorable Aziz, who showcased the newly completed Ashiru Street in Ojokoro, the 10th road built under his administration in Koka, Ojokoro, according to him. He said the project, which includes asphalt surfacing and lane marking, reflects his commitment to fulfilling campaign promises. Now, while some residents have commended the effort, others criticized the quality of the work, describing it as substandard and unlikely to last. Welcome to Scorecard. I'm Bernard Akede. Let's get the grade. Our main focus this week is on Ojokoro Local Council Development Area, a community rich in culture, resilience, and enterprise. Carved out of Ifako-Ijaye in Lagos, Nigeria's economic powerhouse, Ojokoro is home to the Yoruba and Awori people. It is a fast-growing area caught between urban expansion and rural neglect, with more than 400 vibrant residents. Now under the leadership of Barrister Adémólá, the people of Ojokoro are demanding tangible change and visible development. Despite its size and reputation as a hub for growth and progress, residents say essential facilities remain out of reach. Now they point to poor roads, a lack of schools, and inadequate healthcare. The nearest primary school, residents complain, is in Ifako-Ijaye, while the closest health center is several kilometers away. Now, beyond infrastructure, security has become another major concern. Residents complain that outsiders frequently invade their community, terrorizing people and stealing from them. They say safety is now a daily worry, one that grassroots leadership has yet to properly address. And with direct federal allocation now going straight to local councils, a vital question arises. Are the people of Ojokoro part of this administrative block, feeling any real impact on their roads, waste management, schools, or healthcare? And to help us unpack this, we are now joined by several guests who will be speaking to directly. First of all, we have Adémólá Aina, who's a seasoned journalist. Thank you for joining us. We also have joining us virtually Mr. George Ashiru, who is the IPAC Public Affairs Officer for Lagos State. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Ashiru. Now, my first question will go to both guests, but I'll start with you, Mr. Aina. Truly, how do you feel about full autonomy of governance in Lagos State? We know now that the government, or the local governments rather, are in control of their funds. But what do you think? Are these local governments truly autonomous? Are they truly in control of their funds and their resources? Let's start with you, Mr. Aina.
Thank you very much for that question. I think it's very relevant for the kind of situation that we found ourselves in Nigeria today. I mean, the basic idea of federalism, I mean, Nigeria exists as a federalist, country in paper, really. And the basic idea of federalism is devolution of powers, right? I mean, it's spreading the powers to the hands of the local government, state government, all of these things. But the major issue that has been affecting Nigeria is, this money politics. Many of these local government chairmen are there by the influence of the state governors. It's just a bad system of government that has been cascading from the federal level to the state level. We have seen many situations where the federal government have appropriated the functions of the state government, and the state governors have also assumed this responsibility by appropriating the functions of the local government. We have seen many instances where the state governors have, unilaterally confiscated the allocations of the local government. So in reality, federalism is really, a policy, it's a policy paper. It has not really cascaded to meaningful economic realities for the people. So it's until we tackle the core of the problem, which is the money politics, which is selection instead of election, until we have, real proper political structure in place that address all of these things. So the problem in Nigeria is that we are yet to separate the difference between policy and politics. Politics has always eaten into policy. And we are unable to separate all of these things. If you look at Ogun State, look at the bad roads, look at everything that's happening there, look at Ojokoro, Abule, Alakuko, all those places. The people have not seen the real meaningful translation of all of these things. And if you look at World Health Organization says that it takes an average of 500 million naira to establish a proper public health care system. And look at all of these places in Lagos. Where is the closest public healthcare facility in the Ojokoro local government? How many people in Ojokoro local government have have access to healthcare facilities? How many people there can take their children to school? Where is the closest school to the people in those areas? So the idea of federalism and the idea of devolving power to the local government is to make sure that governance and economic development is as close to the people as possible. And the fact that we have not achieved this, brings to the table what kind of political system is Nigeria operating. Is it a unitary system of government or is it a federal system of government?
So we need to go on a quick break, and when we come back, we're still looking at Ojokoro Local Council Development Area, but generally, our spotlight is falling on the local government areas in Lagos State. Do stay with us.
The emotions are high. People are angry, people are in tears. I notice.
All around me, there are people, many of them trying to salvage whatever they can salvage.
It's Ismaila Mohammed, whom was shot by one of the officers of the Nigerian Army. This is the hole where the bullet penetrated, and that's the second hole.
Right behind me are members of the Nigerian police force to alert the protesters that they've gone past their time.
They came out with reinforcement, basically. All right, at the moment, do roll on now. Aguenta.
Thank you for staying with us. We are still on Scorecard, and I was speaking to Mr. George Ashiru. So far, so good. Now, still using Lagos as a case study. Even though we cannot say that we have achieved total autonomy, whether it is mental autonomy, political autonomy, or financial autonomy by the local government in Lagos State, can we in any way say that the local government has received any type of autonomy at all? Or is local government still, would we say, a substructure of the state government, such that almost everything is controlled by the state government?
It's basically what I said, which is that as long as the same political machinery controls the local government as well as the state, 100% or 99%, then you are going to have very difficult to have any form of autonomy. Very, very difficult, because the political system will take priority over policy, over economic management, over financial management, over transparency, accountability. The necessity to keep maintaining your political party's interests will trump, what should be common sense leadership at that level. So when you have funds released from the federal government to the states, for the local government administration, or even directly to the local government, you still find that you cannot make a decision as to what kind of projects you are going to embark on without the knowledge and the approval of the State Assembly, which is a political entity as far as this is concerned, and then without the knowledge and the approval of the Accountant General of the state government, who is responsible to the governor. So when those laws are created in such a way that you still have to be responsible to an arm or an officer of the state government, then that particular officer is responsible to the governor, then automatically you are still unable to practice true autonomy when it comes to financial management. So that's why we're saying that the way that this autonomy law is written, by the Supreme Court is not specific. It's not very comprehensive in terms of its management. It doesn't say, for example, that the local governments can decide on their own on their budgets, can implement on their own their various projects, can raise money on their own. Even to raise funds, you need to get the approval of the State Assembly, which is usually, an appendage of the political party in power. So what you're going to find is this idea of autonomy has to be defined properly. And you see, it's not just about us criticizing the current system, the current party in power. It's beyond that. It's the systemic issue of not having a constitution that very clearly defines the way and manner in which all of these entities of our federal system should operate. That's why you keep hearing people say we are not practicing true federalism. So those major errors need to be corrected. It still comes back to the idea that the federal government is going to release money for 20 local governments, because that is what the federal constitution recognizes. Who is going to decide how to then take out of the 20 local government what goes to different LCDAs? It's going to come back to the governor. Because the government of Lagos State, through the House of Assembly, created 37 additional LCDAs. But the federal government only recognizes officially the 20. So when money is released to 20, is the local government chairman, for example, of Adémólá, who has another 5 LCDAs under him, is he the one that would then decide that, okay, I'm going to give this council development authorities a bit of my money, but I will have to be the one that will account to the federal government for the use of this money? Or is it the state governor that will decide, no, you take out of your money and give them this, that? This is part of what I'm talking about. Is this systemic structure that we have created that is going to end up making, no matter who is elected, even if you have, for example, a dual LCD administration where maybe one party controls 50%, another party controls 50%. Will this LCD system operate? If, for example, ADC was to control Adémólá, and then half of the local development authorities are from another party, what would then happen? So these are critical and important conversations we need to have about when we say autonomy, we have to define the meaning of autonomy.
All right, Mr. Ashiru, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you briefly. Let me speak to Mr. Aina here in the studio. Now, Mr. Aina, we're looking at figures now, and in the from the last, would I say, information that we have, the local government in Lagos received about 39.327 billion naira from the federation's account for the month of August in 2025. Now, do you think that these local governments are seeing the kind of development that people would expect to see, knowing that this amount of money, this huge amount of money, as some would call it, has come into the coffers of the local government?
Thank you very much for that question. I think that's a very interesting question. I was reading an article just before this interview. The AGF of the Federation was threatening and saying that the state governors have immunity and the local government chairmen do not have immunity. So when there's a misappropriation of funds, the local government chairman should get ready to be locked up. But I think has anybody locked up any of all these governors, past and present, for the misappropriation of funds that are meant for the local government? I mean, if you look at the last year's statistics, just before the landmark ruling of the Supreme Court in July last year, that gives the local government financial autonomy, as the case was. According to the statistics, the allocation that was given to the local government from January to June last year is enough to buy 19,000 transformers nationwide to all the local governments nationwide. That was when the state governors were still the ones receiving all of these allocations. We did not see meaningful economic, transformation. And like I said earlier, many of all these local government chairmen and all these people were handpicked by the state governors themselves. Like a typical example is Ogun State. If you look at Ogun State now, you see that the state government has its tutelage all over the places. The same thing is in Lagos. We cannot see the meaningful economy, even the bare minimum, like environmental, sanitation, all these things. If you look at Obalende, you can see when there are evacuation of all the deaths in the under the gutters and the bridge, all of that. But after some time, you see that it still goes back into there's no proper drainage system. I think the bare minimum that we are supposed to see as people of Lagos living in Lagos, the structures, economic structures, and the main purpose of devolution of powers has not been achieved.
All right.
We have not been seeing all of this.
I'd like to put a pause on that, and we'll go on a quick break now. When New Central returns, we'll take you, just like our guest has said, we'll take you to one of the local governments, and that's Ojokoro LCDA. We'll take you there so that you can hear from the people themselves what they say their challenges are and what their expectations of their government should be. Stay with us.
Local government, the closest arm of governance to the people. It's where leadership begins, where policies meet the everyday lives of citizens. With direct federal allocations now going straight to local councils, a vital question emerges. How effective is governance at the grassroots?
I want government to please help us in the area of security.
You will see a lot of things, hold houses, bad roads everywhere.
In Lagos State, Ojokoro Local Council Development Area tells part of that story. Created in October 2003 by the then Governor Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Ojokoro is one of the 30 LCDAs established to bring governance and development closer to the people, carved out of the larger Ifako-Ijaye local government. Ojokoro is home to the Yoruba and Awori people, a community rich in culture, resilience, and enterprise. Today, it stands as a blend of urban and semi-urban settlements, bustling with life, commerce, and ambition, yet still navigating the challenges of rapid growth and limited resources.
Kò sí school ní environment wa tán mọ́ wá lè lọ so gbogbo nǹkan wọ̀nyẹn jẹ wá níyà a dẹ̀ ń dìbò.
This is Ojokoro, a community where the promise of local government meets the reality of everyday living, where the people's voices define their reality.
As far as this is our own Ijaye, I mean my own community Ijaye here, we've not seen the work of our local government per se.
Alavia Tayo has not really enjoyed the benefit of our government most of the time.
Kò sí hospital ní bí rárá. School pàápàá kò sí ní àdúgbò wa yìí.
The current administration is led by Barrister Adenike Rosiji. She is the first female chairman of Ojokoro LCDA. News Central severally tried to reach the chairman, but we never got her response. Across Ojokoro, expectations are high. Some residents are hopeful that the new administration will kick off major infrastructural projects, especially in the areas of roads, schools, and education. Many also lament the absence of functional primary health centers and public schools in some communities, leaving families to travel long distances for basic healthcare and learning. For them, true development at the grassroots means access to good roads, quality education, and affordable healthcare, the very essentials that define daily life in Ojokoro.
Even this my street, this architect on this street, series of times I've wrote to the local government to help us to do the drainage and do the tarring of the streets. Ever since, I didn't know what happened. I've disturbed them a lot. The last administration, even before the last administration itself, and the present administration, I think maybe we see to it, because she also resides in this Akiton district now. Maybe we are going to see the hand of the government concerning the roads within the Ijaye now.
As this new administration just took position, I want her to give more empowerment to the youths.
1969 ni mi ti denu le. Bàbá mi kọ, ìyá mi kọ síbí, bàbá mi kọ so. Láti 1969 yẹn, wọ́n bá bí ọdún mẹ́ta, ó na rí ìjọba tó bá ṣiṣẹ́ díẹ̀. Láti bí ọdún mẹ́ẹ̀dógún àtẹ̀rí nǹkan kan ládùúgbò.
Ọ̀nà yìí ló jẹ́ kókó. Kan jọ kan wá bá wa ṣe. Wọ́n wá bá wa ṣe kí àdúgbò má dàbí ibi kan dàbí ìlú, ibi kan abúlé. òkè tó wà níbí gbogbo bẹ̀yẹn sìn wá sókè bá abúlé náà ń pè wá níbí ìsàlẹ̀ lọ́hùn yẹn ni wọ́n ń pè ní ìlú abúlé lòkè yẹn ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ̀wẹ̀ wá yọ wá kúrò ní abúlé o ẹ jẹ́ kí àdúgbò wa náà kó jẹ́ ìlú.
We begged them to at least complete the road, but they didn't. What they told us is it is from up that they said they should stop here.
Beyond the struggles for basic amenities, residents say insecurity has become a growing concern. They lament the rise in robbery incidents and attacks from miscreants that disrupt the peace of their communities. Many are calling on the LCDA leadership to work closely with community leaders and local vigilantes to restore safety, strengthen neighborhood watch, and bring calm back to Ojokoro streets.
I and some of my chiefs did security of this community, pursuing all this miscreant for almost 3 months, day in and out, 24 hours security.
The abattoir is very close to us here, and we face a lot of robbery, attack, and these bowlers, their dubious characters, robbery and all that. Nothing has been done.
Nǹkan tá a nídìí báyìí security torí pé security àdúgbò yìí àwa là ń sapá lé lórí a fẹ́ káwọn ọlọ́pàá máa patrol àdúgbò yìí dáadáa torí bóyá nítorí ojú ọ̀nà tí kò dá ni ó fi jẹ́ pé àwọn ọlọ́pàá kí wá patrol bí dáadáa a fẹ́ ká máa patrol àwọn là ń rèjọ lọ́dẹ fúnra wa.
In Alafia community, the struggle takes a different form. Here, electricity, a basic necessity, feels like a privilege that could disappear at any moment. Several electric poles have been weakened or completely uprooted by erosion and bad roads, leaving residents anxious about the safety and stability of their power supply.
Lọ́nà, ní village, ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ councillor chairman wa tá a ṣe ní, òun la fi rí transformer ìyà náà jẹ wá gan.
It is the primary responsibility of local governments to provide and maintain essential public services, clean water, waste management, and sanitation. But in Ojokoro, that reality feels like a distant dream. Refuse litters the roads and gutters, blocking drainages and worsening erosion. The only government-built water project in Ijayi dates back to 1996. Today, residents have taken matters into their own hands, drilling boreholes, digging wells, and finding ways to survive where government presence fades.
Confetti, tenwe ibegan moshe. Ben moso. Ten ban wa bo bai to fe ya sibi ti o le ya, ti o bi to ya si so definitely mi moshe fúnra mi. So, ó yẹ kí ìjọba dé wà ńbẹ̀.
Around 1996, they give us a borehole. And ever since, we have never benefited much from the local government till today.
From Alafia to Ijayi, the story is the same. A people striving, surviving, and hoping for better governance. Their voices remind us that true development begins at the grassroots, where the people are.
Well, you asked for it.
And New Central has delivered. You asked for it.
And New Central has delivered.
You asked for it.
And we delivered. You asked for it.
Now you've got it.
Yes, New Central is live on GoTV Channel 23. Get the latest news and headlines from Nigeria and across the world. With GoTV, News Central gives you major stories and breaking news on politics, business, sports, and entertainment at your fingertips. Welcome to fearless reporting like no other. You asked for it. And now you've got it. News Central on GoTV Channel 23.
Ojokoro local government, the story from there is similar to the one we get in so many other local council development areas across Lagos State. We'll come straight back to our guests here and take your final take concerning local government areas in Lagos, particularly Ojokoro local government area. We'll start from you, Mr. Ashiru. If we were to look at local government development truly, what would you say should be the first and basic focus of local government chairman and local council development area chairman, if you want to put it that way, in Lagos State? What should be the basic focus to start with?
I think government at the local level to focus on human development issues, which is healthcare, education. Transportation is more of a state affair and federal government, because you have to keep moving people between regions and communities. But within each community, healthcare is primary, sanitation is primary education is primary. If I were a local government chairman, or if my party were to produce a local government chairman, the priorities we'll give them will be those three: sanitation, that is environmental sanitation, healthcare, and primary education. Those are critical things, and it must be seen, it must be felt. And then, as a leader, you need to drive resources from the state to your local government. You need to ensure the state roads are in good condition and the state supports you in terms of running all your local development and all your local roads and the intertwining roads between various communities, so that there's greater access. And of course, you've heard things like security. Security is a state function. If the law were to permit for there to be neighborhood police that is under the local governments, then the communities can then assist to enforce and empower that in ensuring that within each community the security is enhanced, because we have a limitation to the numbers of policemen available for the 20 million plus people in this Lagos State. That would be how I would prioritize.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ashiru. I may have to put a pause to that so I can take reaction from Mr. Aina here in the studio. Mr. Aina, as a journalist who has been, viewing these local government areas across the state, what would you say would be the basic needs that should be attended to, first of all, particularly by the local government areas?
I mean, healthcare. Healthcare is one of the most basic. I mean, the basic functions of the government is to protect lives and security, is to protect lives and provide security. And, also by protecting life and by providing security, medical security is also very important. And we have not seen this cascade from the federal level to the local government level. Like you said rightly the other time, we have not seen the real economic transformation of political autonomy of the local government areas. Medical attention is really very critical. Roads is really very critical. If you look at the whole of Lagos, I was discussing with a comrade about some weeks ago. There's this pollution in Lagos. I mean, if you look around, you see people spit here and there. I mean, it's just a reaction to the climate problem that we have in Lagos, to the ecological problem that we have in Lagos. The state is a home to millions of beautiful people from different tribes nationwide, but there are no structures in place to accommodate them. I mean, housing is a big issue in Lagos. If you hear the prices, to just rent a room and parlor self-contained, you'll be mind blown. So I think that the state government in hand with the federal government in collaboration with the local government must sit at a round table and discuss how do we actually, shun this money politics and actually, have real impact on the lives of our people. I think that's the major function of the existence of the government, and that has to be dealt.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Aina. And I think that will be a great place to draw the curtains on this. Thank you so much.
Pleasure is mine.
The story of Ojokoro mirrors grassroots governance across Nigeria, reaching potential, but short on delivery. Yet it reminds us that real development begins from the ground up. On Scorecard, our mission remains clear: to hold leaders accountable and amplify the voices of the people. I'm Bernard Akede, and this is Scorecard, where every promise is graded by citizens holding the red pen. See you next week.